What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a trip all the way down to little old Alabama. Good old Alabama is where we're going to talk about something that's plagued inmates within the prison system for years. Hold on, I got a phone call. Sorry about that. That was my father giving me the ropes for the day, telling me how much work I got to get done. But anyways, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, what could we be talking about that has plagued inmates behind bars for so many years? Happens every single day. What could we be talking about? Extortion. Extortion. I got one crazy ass story coming your way today. And it's sad, but it's not sad. And I'll explain exactly why it's not sad and why it is sad. Alright? But it's treacherous, man. It's treacherous, and this shit happens on a regular basis. I've seen it personally. I've seen extortion so many times in so many different ways. I made a video on it, how inmates extort other inmates. That was one of my oldest videos, and it got a lot of views. I think it has going on like 300,000 views or something like that. But there's many ways for inmates to extort another inmate. And what I'm about to read to you is one of the most popular ones. Okay, so listen up. And I'm going to break it down. What exactly should parents do in situations like this? All right, we're going to really break this down. While serving time, Ryan Rust was beaten, stabbed, and threatened with hot oil if his relatives didn't pay up. After disturbing calls and texts, they bought guns for protection. The terrifying calls, texts to the Rust family began soon after Ryan Rust became an inmate in Alabama correctional system. Before long, his relatives were aiming themselves for protection. I bought an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle and 1,000 rounds of ammo just because things became so serious. Jeff Rust, his father said, these inmates have reach that goes way beyond the prison, and that is very true. Some do, but you'd be surprised some of these cats that are playing this bluff game with you on the phone trying to get money, a lot of them don't have that much of a reach. Typically, they ain't gonna go after their whole family just because they ain't getting no money through extortion. It doesn't happen like that. The only time that reach gets out there and goes after their family or something like that, I mean, you have to be caught up in the mix for real. You know what I mean? Like, you snitch on some head honchos or something like that, but typically, they ain't gonna go after the whole damn family if you don't pay up the money. But you also gotta understand that this family's a bunch of squares. Okay, squares, they're not used to this type of intimidation. That life-rattling reach is facilitated by inmates' relatively easy access to an item they supposedly forfeited once they entered the Alabama prison system. Cell phones. Extortion by prison payphones has long been a problem, but illegal cell phones have facilitated the delivery of threats, vexing correctional officers across the country. Why do they not do it with the prison payphone? Let me break down a couple stories for you. They do it with the prison payphone. Trust me. It's recorded, right? These inmates know it's recorded. Some idiots don't give a shit. They'll do the threats right there on the payphone, prison payphone, and about a week later after an investigation goes through, they're getting hemmed up. Because it's recorded. The prison payphones are always recorded, and a lot of cats just think that they're not going to be listened to. But you got to remember, they got keywords. They got keywords in these phone calls that, that red flag things. I'm not going to get into that, but I made a video on that as well. But let me tell you a quick little story to go along the lines of this payphone extortion process, all right? During my time in prison, I've seen quite a bit of extortions. Quite a bit. You don't really hear about them, but you can see them, and you can put two and two together. Inmates ain't stupid. At least I was. I could tell right off the bat who was getting extorted. Why is little white boy Bobby over there talking to all the gang members near the payphone? Why are they all watching him while he's calling home? And nobody would even know because the inmates probably already talked to him in the cell where nothing's recorded and say, hey, you better go to that phone right now. We're going to follow you to the phone. You better tell your peoples to send money over here. Make up a good story on why you need to send money to this guy's books. So they'll follow him to the payphone, stand there like little bodyguards, but they're not bodyguards because if you don't do what they tell you to do, they're going to lead you back into the cell or take you out right there near the payphone. But see, people that are extorting other individuals, they don't want to get you up out the block. They want to get every dime out of you they can. But the situation I was telling you about, it happened frequently. He would go to the phone probably once every 2 weeks. So that's one major way that I've seen many people get extorted. You don't really hear about it. You don't really know about it. But you see it. in action, and you can put two and two together. Homeboy's getting extorted. Now, that was one of the major things that I seen in prison when it came to extortion. The key to recognizing extortion is, why is that dude at the payphone with those guys? He has nothing to do with them. He has nothing to do with them whatsoever. But there's many forms of extortion. That was just one along the lines of the payphone and how it still is used. Extortion through a prison payphone still is used, just in a different way. The finesse game is crazy in prison. They be finessing people out their damn draws, I'm telling you now. Now, this is Ryan's timeline, okay? And this is why I say it's not sad, but it is sad. Ryan Rust, who was physically imposing, adorned with tattoos and saddled with prescription drug addiction. He served time in Alabama prison system from late 2015 to late 2016 for property theft. That wasn't too long of a little bit. That was like a year. Then he was back in prison January 2018. That was about a year later, after being convicted of rape. That right there is the key to everything. I can almost guarantee is the reason why he is being extorted. Like I said, in the prison I was in, Bloods, Crips, GDs ran the prison. I knew that there was GDs, I knew there was Crips, and I knew there was Bloods in there for rape. They were chilling. But let there be a white guy in there for rape, the extortion, the bullying, or the raping is going to be coming his way. I've never not once seen a black guy in the prison I was in get tormented for his rape charge. Never seen it. But that was a game changer with old Rust here. He lost privileges and was forced to go to other inmates who stockpiled cigarettes and coffee. And they would charge him inflated prices, his father recalled. Well, he didn't have to go get them damn cigarettes and coffee, did he? Your son is going to the store box when he ain't got no damn money. And he's in there for a conviction of rape. So not only does he have a nasty ass sex charge on his record, but he ain't able to pay back his damn inflated debts that he chose to get in prison, knowing that they're going to be inflated. They would inflate the prices for toothpaste, socks, and deodorant, and the guards are in on it all. I don't think the guards are in on it. Come on, man. That's just a side hustle the inmates do, The guards know about it. I mean, it's common. Store boxes are not really allowed in prison, but everyone does it. It ain't that serious, but at the same time, it kind of is, because that's how a lot of people die or get beat up, extorted, is because they go to the store box and they can't pay that shit back. Then it came to threats by phone. Pay up or Ryan gets hurt. The elder, Mr. Rust, a 64-year-old towboat captain, said inmates would instruct him to use Western Union and other transfer services to send payments to their girlfriends, wives, or other relatives who would deposit the money into the men's commissary accounts. That's usually how it happens. When you need to get money, they got green dots and stuff like that. When you need to get serious cash in prison, or you owe a big debt, or if you're just trying to buy a lot of drugs or something, the way to get the money to the people that you're buying it from is always usually through Western Union. It's the quickest and fastest way to do it, and usually once you get the Western Union, there's a receipt and all that stuff. You do the receipt checks, and boom, it's in there like swimwear. And a lot of these guys will get extorted. They'll think they're buying a bunch of bud, and as soon as they send the money, Western Union, guess what? Homeboy ain't giving them nothing. He just got extorted without being extorted. But for the most part, they will usually give you your drugs because they want you to come back. They want you coming back. But yep, Western Union is definitely the way to transfer a lot of funds when you're dealing with prison business. And this is something that's well known between the guards and everyone that's been locked up. It's not nothing new. It might be new to some of y'all, but for the most part, this is common knowledge within prison. Ryan Rust also reportedly called and texted by cell phone, of course. It got to the point where he was asking for money every day, his father said. Let me just say this before we move forward. If your son or daughter is ever calling home from prison asking for money every single day, stop it in its tracks immediately, because if you keep doing it, it will never stop. It will never stop until you have no more money. So do you want to stop while you still have money? Or do you want to stop when you have no more damn money, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen to your son or daughter? Stop that shit immediately. We do not work with extortionists. The Alabama Department of Corrections said it never received an official complaint from the Rust family about any extortion, although his father said he had reported some of the incidents to prison officials. Look, a lot of these guys will get on the phone and they'll talk to the parents that they're trying to extort, and they'll say, hey, if you talk to the staff or anyone, your son is dead. We'll know immediately. If they take me out the block, the guy behind me is going to kill him. So that's why a lot of people don't even tell the staff, don't even tell the institution, because they're scared that their son or daughter will die from doing so. The threats became more than just words when Ryan was stabbed twice. His father said over what he believes was an unpaid debt. I can almost guarantee it was. At first, the demands coming from the Easterling Medium Security Prison in Clio were for $30 here, $50 there, Mr. Rust said. But once they found out he could call his daddy for money, it got terrible. What I say, once they found out his daddy had a little tap into some funds, the shit show ain't never gonna stop now. The extortion continued with Ryan's transfer to Bullock Medium Security Prison in Union Springs. Now this is a big deal. Why did the extortion not stop when he got transferred to another prison? Is because of his charges. He can't escape his paperwork, he can't escape his charges, ladies and gentlemen. I can guarantee the guards were telling the dangerous inmates about his charges as soon as he walked into each facility. Guards are just like us. They don't like sex crimes either, my friend. The extortion continued with Ryan's transfer to Bullock Medium Security Prison in Union Springs, where he was stabbed again, and from where the family received one of the more horrifying threats. They were going to take baby oil and something else and heat it up in the microwave, Mr. Rust said, then throw it on him if we didn't pay. His father said at times he could hear other inmates in the background during calls giving his son instructions such as, tell daddy to get the money here or I will stab you right now, boy. He added the threats like these only increased when Ryan was moved to Fountain Medium Security Prison in Atmore. Another prison. This is the third prison he's been transferred to, ladies and gentlemen. This is medium security. I told y'all in a video before in the past which one's more dangerous, medium or high level security prisons. In my eyes, it will always be medium security prisons because that's where all the violent offenders are. It's where all the rapists and murderers are as well. But their lockdown status much more open rather than those 5, 4, 6 level prisons. Those prisons, you're on lockdown pretty much 20 hours of the day, so you don't have too much time to roam. Inmates don't have too much time to kill. Medium security prisons, they have plenty of time to roam. They have plenty of opportunities to kill. That's why I believe medium security prisons are much more dangerous. I wouldn't say much more. I would just say more dangerous than those higher levels. Mr. Rust said that to pay the extortion money and some legal fees, he worked overtime and remortgaged his home. But his greatest anxiety came from answering the phone to hear strangers barking out fresh demands daily. His daughter Harmony Rust, 39, a businesswoman and mother of 4, also decided to arm herself. The many inmates she had been extorted by all knew her name and the nature of her business and her home and work addresses. I started carrying in 2018 when the money amounts being demanded were getting larger, and I could tell from the situation that it was very bad, Miss Rust said. So they got the addresses, work phones, work numbers, all this stuff of each one of his family members. These guys were serious about the extortion. Now, how did they get all this information on people? Look, it's not as easy as you think to type in a name and get information on someone because there's so many people with the same exact name. How did these damn inmates find all these people's phone numbers, all his family members' phone numbers, businesses, or whatever the case is? I can almost guarantee that the kid probably had a phone book with all the information in it, or they just sat him in a cell with some shanks in front of him and said, tell me all of your family's information right now, or we're gonna skin you alive, man. What are you gonna do if you're sitting in a cell in Alabama, 4 guys are in the cell blocking you from leaving, you're all alone, 2 of them have a knife standing right in front of you saying, hey, he's already been stabbed once. He knows they'll stab his ass again. What the hell is your parents' information, your sister's information, and Auntie Becky from 3 years ago's information? I want it all. You don't think he's gonna spill the beans? Would you spill the beans? Would you risk getting stabbed and killed in prison just because you don't want to tell the people your information? Or your families? I don't think I could ever tell my family's information. I would have to wear that. But then again, like I said, we don't know. It might not have went down like that, but it does. And I can almost guarantee that is how it went down. Mr. Rust estimated that he paid more than $21,000 in response to extortion attempts, mostly in the last year of his son's imprisonment, sending money several times a week to an ever-changing cast of inmates. Some were more persistent than others, such as the man who had just received $3,000 but wanted more. Shit, if I made $3,000 off an extortion lick in prison, I'ma let him ride. Get the hell up out of here. I'm dipping out. I'ma transfer prison with that $3,000. That's enough for me. That's enough for me, my friend. But a lot of these cats that got 20, 30, 40 years, they're thinking about the long run. They need more. They need to get as much as they can out of this sweet little Ruby. After paying the $3,000, he called again. I told him it's over, Mr. Rust recalled, and he just said Ryan owed me a lot of money. Finally, Mr. Rust and his daughter decided they would give only tough love to Ryan and nothing more to their extortionists. The week I quit sending the money, inmates started beating him, Mr. Rust said. In 2018, 4 days before Christmas, Ryan Rust was found dead with a belt around his neck in his solitary cell in Holman Maximum Security Prison in Atmore. Correctional officers determined that Ryan had killed himself, but his father and sister have their doubts and regrets. We are shouldering a lot of guilt because we would get mad at him about the money and extortion, Mr. Rust said with his warm face streaked with tears. Why is this story so sad to me? Because he loved his son so much. He paid $21,000 to make sure that he was safe. He's a better man than me. I ain't paying $21K to no extortionist. Would you pay that money if you had it? Like I said in the beginning, never pay extortionists. Never. No matter what they threaten you with, the best thing to do is to tell the staff. It's the best thing you can do. There's not much you can do. But paying them is just going to make things much worse. It might seem like it's going to pacify the situation, might get rid of the situation right then. It will not. Once they get the taste of money, it will not stop. Do not pay these fools. Do not pay him. But let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, he was in there for a rape charge. Like I said, it's not sad because this shit is what's coming to individuals that have charges like that. Be prepared. It's coming. And if you ain't got money, you got cheeks. And trust me, someone always wants some cheeks. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this story, ladies and gentlemen, and got something from it. I know there's probably someone out there that watches my content that their son or daughter right now, as we speak, is being extorted. And you might not know. You might not know if they are or not. You might be thinking and wondering to yourself, is this possible? Is this really what's happening? Is it? My son, my daughter sounds normal on the phone. Doesn't sound like they're being extorted. A lot of these inmates would tell them, do not sound crazy on the phone now. You better act normal. Don't sound scary. Don't give off any kind of hints. Listen, if you think your family that is in prison is being extorted, go watch my old video about extortion. It's how inmates extort other inmates. I really break it down. I really show you the warning signs on how you should know that that's what's going on.